You always look really different and good vibes every time I see you. So what's your secret? What's your secret? Can you tell us the story?
Yeah, it's actually a lot of things, but
do we have time for everything?
I'll cut it from the start. I'll go to the start. To be honest, first to start with the habits. It's just being disciplined, and I think that's always important whatever you want to do. But there's something I stepped into recently, which is recently. When I say recently, it's like 2 years from now, which is about your nutrition and how you deal with your nutrition, lifestyle, and so on and so forth. And the reason for it, and I always say that, always make sure that your biology works for you.
Okay.
Because the worst thing you want to have is you have you did your meditation, you did your yoga, and everything is going okay, but your insulin is out of whack or your adrenaline is out of whack. So it's kind of...
Which most people don't even think about or even have them in their daily life, the insulin level and the other factors. They just go about things without thinking. I think it's an interesting point you mentioned.
That's absolutely true, yes. So you get into that and your hormone working against you, your biology working against you, and you did your meditation, you did everything, but you're still angry. People do something and you go snap at them.
Okay.
I thought it's something, something that's measurable. It's something you can put your discipline about. You say, I want to do this, and then you start telling to your lower self, we're not going to eat this muffin, we're not going to take this donut today, and it starts like that. So it's kind of put up more mental discipline as well into you, and eventually, to be honest, when I did so many I experimented a lot with a lot of what they call diets, and eventually I came about to think about these kind of things. That's really it doesn't really work at the...
Can you hold that thought now? Because you just mentioned the word diet.
Yeah.
It's interesting that I think over the past few years that people are so obsessed with, I like to call it lifestyle, but people refer to it as diet, nutrition and all that. I just look at it like lifestyle.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things going on with this diet, and everybody's so obsessed with the way they look, with the way they... what is that? I mean, why is that? I mean, is it? Do we speak about the social media? Do we speak about confidence zone? What is it? Before we get to that, what you were discussing, what do you think is going on?
You see, I think lots of people actually you were right when talking about the social part of things. I think people, it's like, when you want to do something, you always think about, I want to do this kind of business because I want to get money. And you're an entrepreneur. And when you do that, if you actually not thinking about added value, enjoying the journey, you're actually not going to get the other part, or you're going to get it but you're going to be miserable. So if you're gonna just be fixating on that outcome, and the journey is like, I don't care, I just want to get there. And so most of the people, they want to look nice, they want to look fit, they want to look ripped, they want to, and they don't care about the
process,
journey, what they need.
Exactly. They want the end results.
Absolutely.
And then they're not happy with it.
Absolutely.
Like I remember Oprah Winfrey once mentioned, like, I have everything I want, but I always wanted the wrong. So you end up realizing, why did I do that at the end of the day? So you don't enjoy the journey.
That's absolutely right. So people got fixated on I want to look nice, I want to go tripped. And what's fascinating is that when people want to do this, instead of living healthy, you start seeing actually they're doing the wrong things to look better. Instead of so you they lose perspective into things. And instead of me doing things, I want to be healthy so that I'm going to look good. And so it's the other way around. I want to enjoy the journey. I want to be present. I want to have my hormone, my biology working for me. I'm focused, no head fog, no. So when whatever passion I'm doing, so I'm here. I'm performing.
I'm
in the moment, exactly. My kids came, daddy, come and play with us. You're not lethargic, you ate your dinner and, you're lethargic. You just go in. Your wife, you're there, you want to do something with them. So basically, you're making your biology working for you. So whatever you are doing after that, so whether you're still having a soul searching, thinking what you want to do, or you're actually doing it. So you find your passion and you're actually doing it. You want first your biology working with you. So people get obsessed for the wrong reason. And I think when you start doing this, you start getting the other benefit, which you start looking good, you start looking more fit, you start looking more energetic, more confident. So everything start connect together, and you start like, it's not only about the biology side, you start executing on, because you see, as when your biology is working for you, immediately you're gonna gain more energy. Immediately you have more energy in your life. So what you're gonna do with that energy? There is people go crush it in the gym. There's people go do something, but you have more abundant energy now is available for you. The question, what you're gonna do about it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think about it that way. I think about it actually. You work it out, and the good, the cherry on the cake is that you're gonna look good.
Look good. Like the byproduct.
That's the byproduct. It's like when you do a business, you follow your passion, like what do you do all the time. You're doing it, and byproduct of that, you get money. It's not you doing it to get money. It's actually you doing your passion. You're in that.
But I think the more they say, it's a book I read a long time ago that says one major reason for failure is trying too much.
Absolutely.
So when you have your mind, as you said, fixated on that specific making money or getting six packs, or for instance, I don't know, getting whatever it is you want to get, or I think you start so focused on that, and we said it,
That's
that
right.
you don't enjoy the journey.
That's
But
right.
in the sense that it doesn't bring you that joy.
That's right.
You lose that. So having a business starts, it's always tough to have a business, but it will be extremely an unenjoyable
That's
experience, because you're just thinking about the money. Okay, I need to pay the rent, I need to pay the light, I need to pay this, that, same thing with the training.
Absolutely.
You start thinking, one more day in the gym, one more day with, let's say, intermittent fasting.
Exactly.
This when is my cheat day? I don't like to say or believe it, but some people look at it as this is like a cheat day, like okay, I need to go to the gym, I need to look good. Why do you need to look good? Well, because I want to go to the beach in the summer, and why?
Exactly.
There's no
Exactly.
reasons. There isn't any logical reason for things. It's just the end result.
Absolutely. Yes.
Which I think.
And I think as when you mention it, when you're talking about it, it came to my mind a writer that we both love, which is Joseph Campbell. You talk about the hero's journey.
Yes, hero's journey. I remember.
And if you think about it, in reality, it's actually everybody is stumbling into the journey in general, and there's an external journey and there's the internal journey. What we usually see is the external journey. This guy is getting rich. This guy is getting ripped. This guy is getting famous. That's what we see. And we get obsessed about that. That's what media is talking about. But exactly what Joseph Campbell said is it's not actually, when you start getting into that journey, not the outcome is gonna matter. What gonna outcome is the person you're gonna become, who's gonna achieve that outcome. So why I'm saying this? I'm saying this because eventually, once you stumbling into your, whatever you wanna do, it's okay. If you said, I wanna I wanna get ripped, it's okay. That's a good target. You put it there. But now, when you're getting into the journey, don't keep saying, I've got to go to the gym. I don't believe that. Now, I still have 5 days before the cheat day. I cannot believe this. So, now you're missing out. You're missing out on the journey. So you're going to go. That's lovely, fantastic. But when you start getting to the journey, make sure you're in it. So that you start going into the flow. When you start going into the flow, things start shifting. And that's what happened with me. I started for external reasons. I was overweight. I lost actually 25 pounds. I put up more muscles. I had lots of issues, Sam. I have joint pain. I had head fog.
So just to clear things out, so it's not misunderstood. You were not happy when you were at that state.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's not like you were happy and overweight and you want to change that, because there's nothing wrong being whatever weight you are, as long as you're happy and leading a good life for yourself for the future. So you were not happy and you had physical problems and you were in a bad place.
Correct.
Just so we're clear that. Okay, yeah.
That's right. So I said, I've got to change that. And the only way I thought about it at that moment is I start putting goals. That's what I usually do. So I'm a goal-oriented person. But at the moment I start putting this, and lots of things start shifting in my life, and I start going into the journey, because first I was like really going to the gym, just doing the minimum possible to get away with. And same with the diet. I do the minimum possible. Like I start doing this intermittent fasting, like, and it's like counting the hours. Oh my God, when is my hour is come? 16 hours, and I just want it to, I just want it to come. And an hour before the breaking the fast was like, it's horrible. I cannot do anything. I'm just sitting waiting for what I'm gonna eat now.
What's gonna happen?
Food. That's all what I could have think about. So then I find out, I'm wasting time. I'm not enjoying my life, and people, the social life I'm having is getting ruined, because
you can't go out much with friends or dinner or lunch or these things, because you have a commitment and you're not feeling well about it as well.
Absolutely. So it's kind of lose game eventually when you start getting into these things. So that's what so you asked me why you think people has got and I think that's focusing on that external thing without enjoying the journey. Is actually, but for me it's actually going it's actually understanding. There's no wrong with setting any kind of goal. That's what you do, you put it. But once you start the journey, start being more present, think about what you want to do, and you start doing it. And so you asked me why I look good. So I start with these diets, and I told you, I find out these diets, man, it's really, there is bad association when I said, the moment I say diet, we feel sad. You feel sad, I feel sad.
Like a pressure.
Exactly.
Like a bad word or something, or like, again, another diet, another person talking about nutrition and all this, we are done. I mean, even when I look online, I'm like, I just don't want to see these words. I mean, I don't want to hear it.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is a real word that exists there. We cannot say it, delete it, but it's a wrong association that's attached to this word.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what is happening. And if you go search today, the problem is not lack of information. The problem is there's too much information. You get, and everybody start telling you, keto is the best. Fat is the most awesome thing you're gonna get, and all the research before is all wrong, and we've been lied to, and all these kind of things. Then you go to the guys, they came start saying vegan diets, and I'm not talking about the vegan as a concept. I respect everybody. I respect everybody. It's like, if you take it for the love of animal, I respect that. But I'm talking about just in terms of just food perspective. So if you say I'm vegan, I'm not gonna eat this kind of meat, and best to eat just only that. And then the other guys come with carnivores. They follow that. Then the other guys come carnivores, start showing you research that actually plants is hurting you. So that have these kind of chemicals like lectin, make leaky gut. I don't want to go into this kind, but it's actually causing you lots of troubles. And they start taking you, carnivore diet is best. You don't eat any plants, you eat only meat. Like, oh my God, this is talking about research, and this is talking about research.
Everybody has their own story about it, and their own. Someone wants to prove someone wrong, or someone wants to prove someone right.
Exactly. So it's become, to be honest, it's become a dogma. It's become like everybody's become dogmatic about, and they fight the other kind of school, and people got confused and what people want. So if you really want to do it for the right reason, even if you want to, whatever kind of goal you're going to set into put it, the moment you start thinking about diets of the diets that going to make your life miserable, so you're doing the wrong thing. The moment you're doing something and you're just fixating on food, you're doing the wrong thing. And of course there is a conditioning time. Like when you start doing something, there is a time where you need to tell yourself, your lower self, you know what, we're not going to eat this muffin. There's a time where this is going to come. But then your biology will start shifting. And literally your biology, like your microbiome, will start shifting. This is your kind of software. Start shifting. You start this bacteria that live inside you, these species, they start actually varies inside you. So literally you become a different person inside. Okay. So this craving towards things start gonna fade away. Change. So there is always an unconditioning time that you need to do to start. So when you're self-telling, I'm hungry, so you need to just sit down, listen, and see what is happening.
What's happening exactly. Yourself.
And actually, so to not go about the diet things, you start shifting towards thinking, okay, why I want to do this?
The reasons first.
Exactly.
The right reasons.
Once you start
health problems or unhappiness about certain things, or like in your case, joint,
Exactly.
or some people. I know a friend who's again in a similar situation for whatever reason, but he doesn't have energy. I mean, he's in his 30s and he doesn't have energy. He wants to do more things, but he doesn't have energy. So it's becoming
absolutely. So once you said this, it goes back to the how. Correct?
Yes.
The how, if you go search, you're gonna get it crazy. You know, to cut the story short about like, to be honest, I think diets is hacks. So you might get into ketosis for a while so that you kick your fat metabolism for a while. That's good. It's a hack. It's not something you're going to do for a long time. And this is what the research is saying there is very good benefit for that. But if you do the research for a very long time, you find these people actually, they're hurting themselves. You know, so whenever you stumble into a diet saying, this food is forbidden, don't eat it, this will make you miserable, think again, you know, unless, you know, it's a refined food. So I'm talking about the natural food. So I kind of stumble into this question, is there really a perfect diet for people? Is there really, like, are we human built like me, you, like we built, if we eat this and don't eat that, we're gonna be fantastic? And to be honest, with all, like, you know, maybe you know, but I go crazy on the research, and I really
think it was a time when you sort of went quiet and sort of disappeared a bit, and you were focusing on yourself and trying different things. I mean, I remember that a year or two back.
And I'm telling you, like, for me, I literally, I do what I preach, like, and everything, I tried ketosis, and I went deep into ketosis. I tried intermittent fasting. I tried, when I say I tried, for me, it's not like I do it for a week. 40 days is my minimum.
40 days.
Minimum, that's 40 days.
So you tried all these?
I tried all these. I tried ketosis, I tried vegan, I tried paleo diet, I tried like any diet, like I stumbled into, people claim it's like, this is amazing, this will help you.
You studied it.
I study it, I do it, and I see, you know, what's happening with me. And I have a journal. I write how much I monitor my sleep, I have markers, which is I monitor, you know, what's happening with me. So I start monitoring things. But when I start like going more into the research and I find, and it's very simple, we human, we're adaptable. You and I, we're here because our ancestors managed to, you know, to persist. And if you look at the world before, Sam, there is, we used to live in scarcity. That's the word. You know, if you look in 2000 years, just within 2000 years, you know how many famine happened in UK? 200. We as a human, we are living maybe, I would say 70 years till now. We start living in abundance. But before, people was living in scarcity. So what happened? People actually, we adopted as a human. We kind of become based on what happened with us. So in a human, in our... We adjusted. So the question is, what was happening? What was our, you know, ancestor was doing?
So you studied all that.
And I started going into this, and I studied the nutritional part, and I studied the people who only study the paleo. So they study only they have nothing to do with diet, Sam, as like I'm a nutritionist. They kind of think about it. I'm a guy, I want to study what our ancestors eat, not to prove any diet or do anything.
For themselves.
So they study the teeth, they study the bones, they study, and they come and say what people are eating. And then they start, a pattern they start coming out from this. And the first pattern that's very obvious, which is gonna put all diets kind of in a question mark. We as a human, whenever we landed in a place, we eat whatever was available there. So, and what's available there in that time. So in nature, we're cyclical, Sam. We used to move, we eat what's there.
What's available, what's there.
What's available in that season, what's available in that place. So we human, we're cyclical in nature. So if I come and tell you, Sam, you need to go into ketosis, stay there for a full 2 years, that's the best. I'm lying to you. That's not how we adopted as a human. Would that give you a benefit in short term for us to work on something that you are doing, so that you have an insulin resistance, and we want to work on that so that your fat metabolism is not working, like we want to do something to kick something? It does, and research is showing this, but short period of time, not like go broad. So these kind of diets that cut certain type of food, whenever that happen, put up a question mark on it, you know. So we eat what's available. So now we're living in abundance. We're not living in scarcity anymore. So that your brain, your monkey brain telling you go eat, because we as a human used to live in scarcity for a very long time.
So it's already...
And this mechanism of like me getting fat is actually, that mechanism, it makes you and me, Sam, staying here today. The ability to put up these kind of fat and store this kind of energy to live through that scarcity is actually what making us. That's why people now, this kind of concept of eating 3 or 5 meals a day, or it's
so everything got carried through the generations and generation that we were, let's say, I don't want to say starvation mode, but we were eating what we had available. Now everything is available. We are in abundance.
Absolutely.
You know, and I mean, sometimes I say, but people believe food is becoming like a joy.
That's right.
You know, when people are sort of, I mean, in a way, food is a joy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, we cannot deny that.
Yes.
We all like to eat, love to eat, whatever. There's different types.
Right.
But I think, as you said, the availability of all these things and the availability of all the research and all the information, that is, I think, becoming so overwhelming on everybody. Like on one end, you have all these food and all these restaurants and all these deliveries available for you. On the other hand, you have all this sort of misconception about how you should look or how you should, and all this. And I think people are, and I feel bad for also the generations that are coming, that, you know, if nobody comes and just explains things from a I don't want to say...
dogmatic perspective.
Exactly. You know,
yeah.
Okay, eat moderately, you know, do not prevent yourself from anything, train, have a good lifestyle, you know, check your numbers, the vitamins, the kidney, all these things, and enjoy life. This is I don't know. Sometimes it's so simple, yet we've complicated it so much. You know.
You know, in a way, Sam, you're absolutely spot on. But you know, I don't want to make it look super easy in that kind of.
No, it's not. It's not.
In a way, what
it's easier said than done.
Yeah. In a way, what happens is like, let's say, Sam, now you know what's gonna make me feel good. I want to eat donut. You know, if I eat that donut, I'm gonna feel good. You know, that's maybe what I feel now. So, what should I go and eat that donut?
Well, some people don't, but I think with you, with all what you've done now, But we just want to also say one thing, that it is okay. Like at points, it is okay to go eat that donut.
Absolutely.
It is okay to go eat that fried food or that French fries. I mean, who are we to say I eat them?
That's right.
You know, but not as before.
Yes.
But I just want to emphasize that it is okay. It is okay.
Me as
and
well.
don't have a donut or 3 donuts every day.
That's right.
Exactly.
So as I told you, Sam, actually, I told you about patterns start coming out from the BU life, yeah? And one of the patterns is actually chronic. So sugar, and that's like a big question mark. Like you find sugar like bad, and this is cause, and so on and so forth. But eventually, if you study people, the insulin level, what's not good for a human is the chronic state. So if you have a chronic high insulin, that's what's not good. But if you have a spike of like you had insulin at one time, and you know, and during other time you maintain your insulin at 85 at good level, you're in a very good state. So always, what's the problem is the chronic. If you keep going at a bad habit for chronic time, that's not good. And actually, you know what? There's a concept they call Hermes Concept, Sam.
Okay.
And Hermes Concept is a concept like they have a nice saying what doesn't kill you make you stronger. In a way, if you practice certain something that at long term it will kill you, end up in killing you, and if you do it in a more a shorter period, it actually makes you stronger. What I mean, Sam? What I mean actually, take exercise for example. Exercise, if you keep having a high heart rate for a very long time, it's not good for you. So the concept is, if you go for a short period of time, a HIIT exercise where you increase your heart rate for a very high state, and then you lower it, like when I say 10 minutes then you lower that, you get the benefits. If you keep your heart rate very high for a very long time, actually you're doing yourself a disservice. This exercise that you're doing, and you think, you know, I'm like disciplined, I'm going 90 minutes in the gym,
killing you.
It's hurting you. Similarly with food. So food, if you're eating all the time, you're eating whatever you want, and you're having chronic high insulin, that's what's not good for you. If you have high, bad fat, that's what's not good for you. So the concept is but if you actually take it at the shorter period, so if I go, for example, ketosis, and I say no carbs at all, and I will maintain my insulin level for a very long time at very low level, that's not good for you. And actually the next time, as your body evolves and so on and so forth, if you go and eat something carbs, you say, I feel miserable. And you start fighting carbs. You say carbs is miserable. No, you made it miserable. Because you cut it completely for a very long time.
Your body adjusted without it.
Exactly. And so this is not the bad food. This is actually, you made it. Look, so eventually once you start, so what you need to monitor that chronic is not good. And you need to think, even what appears not good, if you do it in a short period of time, that's actually can make you stronger. Not the other way around.
Okay, Mamoun, because maybe we'll be running out of time. I want to ask you a few things. So you've tried all these food disciplines, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
What worked for you? Now, I believe you're doing intermittent fasting.
Correct. So
you started with how many hours?
So actually, I started, so to tell you like the way I segmented diets in a very quick way, there is time restricted feeding, and there is macronutrients restricted approach, and there is, I call it fasting. I segment diets in that simple way. So if you go to the ketos and the vegans and all these goes into macro, so I cut a kind of food. There's a type of food I cut it. Carbs is bad, fat is bad, plants, whole food, meat is bad.
You cut it completely.
So cutting this, that's the type. And there is time restricted feeding and there is fasting. So I'm separating time restricted feeding and fasting for one reason. I'm coming to it in a minute. So what happened actually, time restricted feeding is a way that you stop eating. You choose the time where you're gonna eat, and you choose the time when you stop eating. The practice. And in a way you start putting, so you can say 16, 8 or 18, 6 and so on and so forth. So you put up that discipline. And why is that interesting? And research for intermittent fasting, it's mind-blowing in general. And the research on fasting is actually more mind-blowing, which is pre-long fasting, which is you fast for a longer time. So you do a certain practice. So what I do, Sam, I do intermittent fasting, and I started with 16 hours, and then I eat 20. I have 24. So I eat within 4-hour window, and I fast for 20 hours.
20.
I do that for every day except one day,
which is in a way on the high end, because on intermittent fasting you could start with 12 and 12 and then 14 and and adjust. At the point I was doing 16 and 8. Then I dropped it when I got better result to 14 and 10.
Absolutely.
We don't want to scare people also, or let's say tell them that we are extremists in that.
That's right.
This is work for you. We're not doctors. We're not, but we are already. You studied part of it, so we just want to make that sort of.
So I'm certified in nutrition. I can speak for that.
So you can speak.
So you're absolutely spot on. It works for. You need to see what works for you.
Exactly.
What makes work for your life and so on and so forth. But in general, fasting in itself is outstanding. The reason is because we talk about the paleo side. Our ancestors, they used to live on scarcity. They used to fast by force. They used to fast for a very long time. We adopted as a human, as a species, on fasting. So we didn't used to eat all the time.
They used to eat when they're hungry and when food is available.
When food is available. And this is kick a lot of mechanism for the body. So when you fast, what happens? There's a lot of things happen. And when you do the short-term fasting and you do a long-term fasting. So what I do this fasting. Then there is one day on the week, usually Saturday, and sometimes I do it 2 days, which is I eat for a longer period of time. So that I break, a cyclical, so I call it 5-2, yeah? And there's come every week, I fast for a full day. So I stop eating on Saturday, let's say 6 p.m., and I kept fasting till Monday, so I don't eat all Sunday. I do water fasting, so I keep
fasting.
it.
So
water, coffee, tea, that's what I drink, and I stay till Monday at 12. Yeah, so I eat like 40 hours almost, or 42 hours.
Isn't that extreme a bit?
First time, Sam, somebody told me I fasted for 24 hours. I told him, what? Like, how you can? You're nuts, man. I couldn't do it. Literally, when he told me, I thought this guy is not 24 hours. And when you start doing that, what happens, Sam? When you start going into this kind of fasting state, there's certain mechanism in the body. When our ancestors, they used to have a scarcity of food and they want to go hunt, what happens? They need to be sharp, Sam. They need to be focused. They cannot go like lethargic, you know? They need to be strong. Yes. So there's certain mechanism in the body start kicking off that makes you actually more focused, makes you more sharp. That's one. Second, there's certain mechanism on the body that when you start going into this kind of fasting state, you get into a state, Sam, they call it healing state. Okay. So you go from you're eating, so you're digesting, and digesting it takes a lot of energy from the body. So the moment you not eat for a very long time, now you have excess energy. The body has excess energy. So it says, what I'm going to use with this excess energy? Start using it for healing. Start going, Sam, and the body knows best. It's the best doctor that you have. Start going to your kidneys, say, this place we need to fix and do this. Because now you're not eating and I have more abundant energy, so your body start using that. And what they start finding in the research, when you start having a prolonged fasting, there's a process called autophagy. It kicks off. Okay. And I know it sounds like a crazy name, but it's very beautiful. The reason for it, it actually makes you, and we were talking about like make you live a little stronger, make you more focused, more sharp in the minute. I lost all my joint problems, I had lots of chronic issues, head fog, sleep problems, this kind of thing. This autophagy state, in a simple way, imagine like sitting, your cell is sitting here, it's looking at the blood. You're eating. So it's taking all the nutrients in the blood. And because you're eating so much, there's a lot of garbage. They put it in the skull, yeah? Lots of garbage. So the moment you stop eating, they will say, oh my God, this guy is not eating now. So let me go in. And they go inside the cell. They start cleaning, literally, they start cleaning the garbage. You start getting your amino acids.
They have the opportunity to come in now.
Exactly, now they go in. Now what happens, Sam, during first when you start doing this unconditioning, your brain goes like, oh my God, that's in your gene. Oh my God, this is a time of feminine, this is a time of scarcity, guys buckle up, we're going into, So you need to start conditioning your body like, literally you need to start saying, you need to condition it like, things are alright. You need to start be more mentally present. And once you start doing this prolonged thing, you will start finding yourself in a better place, and it's much easier. So, sort of my wife actually, and she's very slim and thin. She did the 3 days fasting. I do 5 days. So what I do. I
don't think I can do that.
Yeah. So I do every month actually. At the last week of the month, I fasted for 3 days. So my regimen is as follows. I do 24. I do 40 hours every week.
Okay.
I do every month I do 3 days, and every 6 months I do 5 days. So why this crazy thing like Mamoun you do? When you start going into this prolonged fasting, Sam, what it does, your body does
it's a tough regime.
It looks tough. But the moment you start, and I'm not saying
the majority for us, for you it might be like a walk in the park, but for us it's...
This is your monkey mind telling you this. I'm not going to make it like look very easy. Like you need to, there is unconditioning. But you, Sam, we as a human, we have this innate in us. This is innate. We can have it. And the moment you start going into this, you start kicking off lots of mechanism in the body. After 3 days, Sam, from when you're getting into the fasting, you get this autophagy thing, you get into ketosis.
Yes.
Now things are burning all the fats and your fat metabolism start going. But you know what research found as well? That you do. Beautiful things that's happening on the body. Your body start producing stem cells. And this stem cells is actually the secret of making you younger. This is all the research going into like the stem cells, we inject you with the stem cells, very expensive. You want to get that? Just have that beyond the 3 days fasting. After 3 days, Sam, your growth hormone get to 300% more. So what I do after 3 days and 5 days of fasting, you know what I do before I eat? I go hit the gym. I do exercise, So you think like, oh, this guy is I'm not. I was eating 5 meals a day. I love food. I love all kind of food. I love like when you ask me what's your favorite food, I don't know because I love them all. I love sushi. I love pizza. I love all kind of food. I'm a foodie guy. So But what's interesting, Sam, when you start going into these fasting state, what you need to know is feast as so much important as the fast. That's the beautiful thing. Because once you fast, you need to feast. It's not only like I fast and I feast.
You need to make it up in a way.
Absolutely.
Make it up in a way. So it's not a starvation mode. It's just a right way to balance things.
Absolutely.
Something just so. So here is the question.
Yeah.
This worked for you. Again, I don't want to say are you happier, because for me happiness is like I believe more of being content and joy. So are you in a better place now than, let's say, 2 years ago?
Absolutely.
That's what I want to tell people. Like, are you in a better place now?
Absolutely. See, I'm not vouching for like go fast and or vouching for any kind of thing, but it's absolutely, it worked for me. It worked for many others. And the beautiful thing about this is you really eventually, once you start into a more like cutting this time restricted thing, your biology work for you. Your mind start being a better place. You start seeing the donut. You're not gonna go for it. You know, it's like
I know that now from experience now.
Yeah,
exactly. I don't have that craving that I used to have before.
Absolutely.
I also want to, because I think we're reaching the end of our episode for today. If someone wants to contact, I mean, we're not sending anything over here, but just I know a lot of friends that also reached out, and our common friends wanted to ask you certain things, and you know. That's right. So. If someone wants to contact you, you have your social.
That's right. I'm starting actually like we maybe.
So something that they can reach you on, just because you're self-learner.
That's right.
You learn things on your own.
That's right.
You know, you're not selling anything.
That's right.
You don't have any anything you're selling, any agenda over here.
That's
but maybe somebody wants to reach you, so maybe we can put your contact at the end. So.
I'm starting actually a podcast. I have on the website now, and I have the social. People can reach out to me on that. I'm starting a podcast and a YouTube channel. It's called Hero Oasis. And in Arabic, I put it in a way because I'm obsessed with the hero kind of, you know, the hero thinking. Journey. Yeah, so it's a Hero Oasis. It's your oasis for health and fitness. And in the Arabic side, I call it Wahatul Asihha. Yeah, it's the same in the similar thinking. So we're gonna do. We're gonna do the both, and so people can reach out to us Facebook.
Maybe we have you here again for another time as well.
Absolutely, love it. Great. It was a nice conversation.
Yeah.